Okay, this is the third question in the moment of inertia set of 4 questions. Now, what this question states is you have a triangular sheet of mass m, and it is this height is a, this base is a. So essentially what you have is an isosceles right angle triangular sheet, mass is m, side of the two sides, these two sides are a each. You have to find out moment of inertia about axis passing through point A. So point A is marked here. You have to find out moment of inertia about axis passing through this point A, and the axis is perpendicular to the plane of this particular sheet. So the axis is oriented like this. It is going into the plane, perpendicular to the plane. There is an axis. You have to find out moment of inertia for this rectangular sheet about that particular axis. So what I'm going to do is, I'll give you one way of approaching it. You'll have to be very careful. While using parallel axis theorem, you can only shift between the center of mass axis and an axis parallel to it. And note that center of mass for a triangle is at the centroid. So centroid is going to be, if I draw the median, so this is the median, centroid will be over here. I'll call this point as C, which will be the center of mass for the full triangle. So center of mass point is C. So just keep that in mind. We'll come back to this. We are essentially going to use parallel axis theorems to find moment of inertia about axis passing through point A. But for that, I need moment of inertia about axis passing through C, right? Because only then I can use parallel axis theorem and find moment of inertia about axis passing through A. Now, how do I find out moment of inertia about axis passing through C? So that is not going to be so simple. You cannot find out for this shape what is moment of inertia about axis passing through C very directly. So we will think of making some constructions and come to known shapes. See, what are the known shapes which we have, for which moment of inertia expressions you have to remember. So known shapes are like, you need to remember moment of inertia for a rod, thin rod. You will remember moment of inertia for a ring. You will remember moment of inertia for a disc. You will remember moment of inertia for a square. You will remember moment of inertia for a rectangle. You will remember moment of inertia for a cylinder, for a sphere. So these are all standard shapes for which moment of inertia you have to remember. So what we'll do is, we'll try to make some constructions so that we arrive at some standard shapes. See, now this question itself, I'm going to approach in two different ways. So two different ways in which you can make certain constructions and obtain the moment of inertia for this particular triangular sheet about axis passing through A. So one method, essentially what I'm going to do is, I'm going to construct a known shape first, because a triangular sheet is not a known shape for which you remember the moment of inertia. So for a square, we'll think of a square. So we have a triangle, we'll construct one more triangle symmetrically so that a square will be generated. So this is the given triangle. I'll construct one more triangle like this so that this will complete a square. And we know moment of inertia for a square about axis passing through. I'll label this point as P. So this point is P over here. So I will know what is moment of inertia for the full square about axis passing through point P, about this axis. That expression is known. But note that when we make constructions, the mass of this particular triangle is given to be m. When we make construction, the mass will change. Now this is m, this will also be m. The mass of the square will become 2m. So note all these things, because what is the mass of the object that you are considering is very important while you are working with moment of inertia expressions. So now the full square has mass 2m, and side of the full square will become a. So what I'm going to say is, for the full square, moment of inertia about axis passing through point P will be mass of that square, which is 2m. Side of the square is a. All these sides will become a. So 2m a square by 6. That will be moment of inertia for the full square about axis passing through point P. And now note that if I consider the axis passing through point P, visualize this axis. Both the triangles, the triangle below and the constructed triangle, both the triangles are symmetric with respect to this axis. So what I would say is, moment of inertia for this one triangle will be half the moment of inertia of the full square about axis passing through point P. Because about this axis passing through point P, note that both the triangles are symmetric triangles. So moment of inertia about axis passing through point P for one triangle will be half of this. So I'm going to write it over here. So for the triangle, moment of inertia about axis passing through P will be half of this expression, which will become ma square by 6. So now what we have done is, we have obtained moment of inertia for this triangle about axis passing through point P, which is ma square by 6. Now we know moment of inertia about this axis. Now we will try to use parallel axis theorems. Now parallel axis theorem, when we are using, don't shift between point P and point A. We know IP, don't write IA equal to IP plus AP square, M into AP square. That is not correct, because for applying parallel axis theorem, one axis should be passing through center of mass and the other axis should be parallel to it. And for this geometry, for the triangle which is there, the center of mass is at point C. Now having obtained moment of inertia for the triangle about axis passing through point P, what I would do is, I will write parallel axis theorem like this. Between P and C I will write, because I can write between P and C, C is center of mass. I will write IP equal to IC plus M into PC square. Parallel axis theorem between axis passing through P and C. Similarly, I will apply parallel axis theorem between A and C. So I will write moment of inertia about axis passing through A will be equal to moment of inertia about axis passing through C plus M into AC squared. Now we know AC and PC values. The AC will be 2/3 of this particular median and PC will be 1/3. That is property of a centroid. C is centroid of the triangle. So centroid will divide the median in the ratio 2:1. So this will be 2/3 of AP and CP will be 1/3 of AP. Now how do we find out AP length? Now AP length can be found out. You know that this side is A, this is an isosceles triangle, so this is 45 degrees and this is 90 here, so this will also be 45. Now if you consider this triangle, this side is A, so AP will become A cos 45 in this triangle. AP is A cos 45 and cos 45 is 1 by root 2, so AP will become A by root 2 and I can write AC. AC will be 2/3 of this. AC is 2/3 of A by root 2 and PC is 1/3 of A by root 2. So I essentially have PC and AC values. Now I will subtract these two equations so that IC will get cancelled out and I will get relation between IP and IA. I know IP and I need to find IA. So subtract these two equations. Now if I subtract these two equations, I will write it like this. IA minus IP will be equal to, when I have subtracted both IC will get cancelled out. This will become M into AC squared minus PC squared. To substitute everything, AC is known, PC is known, you put it here. IP we just found out, IP is MA square by 6, substitute and get the expression for IA. So that will give you the answer for moment of inertia about axis passing through A. So this is one way of working it out. So anyway, I'll just give you the expression and tell you the another way of working it. So that is going to be an interesting thing. You could have thought about another construction also for this. So the answer for this will eventually turn out to be, you simplify it, IA will turn out to be MA square by 3. Okay, substitute everything and calculate. Right, so upon calculation, you will get this particular IA. Okay, so now I'm going to give you the second way of working out. So let me just erase the board and then I'll restart the video. Yeah, so previously we constructed a square. Okay, now I'm going to think of a different kind of construction from the given triangle itself. See how we are going to make the construction. So this is a given triangle, right? It's an isosceles right angle triangle. Now in the previous case, we constructed one triangle here to create a square like this. Now what I can instead think of is, I can think of creating one triangle here, one triangle here, and one triangle here. So essentially I'm constructing like 3 more triangles. And all the triangles are identical, although my diagram doesn't look like that. But if you know, if you construct, it's not a very perfect diagram that I have drawn. But if you draw to this triangle, you construct 3 more triangles like this. The remaining 3 triangles are going to be identical. Now you will generate a square. Yeah, because this angle was 45, so totally this angle is going to become 90. This will become 90, 90, 90. So essentially what you have is a square. Now the side here, this height was given to be A. So I can get this hypotenuse, which will be root 2A, right? Because this is A, this is A, this length will become root 2A. So root 2A is the side of the square now which has been generated. So you have these 4 squares. Now what I need is moment of inertia for one triangle about axis passing through point A, right? So the point A is here. Now I will say that moment of inertia for this one triangle about axis passing through A is I. Now you look at the remaining 3 triangles. Now visualize axis passing through A. Just visualize that. See, this is the axis over here. Now if this is the axis, now with respect to that axis, all the 4 triangles are symmetric. So whatever moment of inertia this triangle has, the other triangle will also have moment of inertia I. The remaining 3 each will have moment of inertia I each. So the full square for this triangle moment of inertia is I, for this triangle moment of inertia is I. So likewise each of the 4 triangles has moment of inertia I. So moment of inertia for the full square will become 4I about this axis. And we know the moment of inertia expression for a square about axis passing through its center, which is nothing but 4I. So 4I will be equal to moment of inertia of the full square. Now the full square, be very careful, mass of the full square will become 4m because mass of one triangle is m. So remaining 3 triangles you constructed, so you generated a full square. When you are making constructions, be careful about the mass. When you are making constructions or when some mass is removed out, you will have to be very careful while relating the mass of the shapes that you obtain. So we have obtained a square shape. Now mass of that square will become 4m. So moment of inertia for the full square will be mass of that square. Side of that square is root 2a the whole square by 6. That is moment of inertia for the full square about axis passing through A, which is 4I. But what do we need? We need I, moment of inertia for one triangle about axis passing through A. So just divide this by 4, you will get I value. So I will be equal to m into, so 4 got cancelled, root 2A whole square will become 2A square. So 2A square by 6 will become by 3. So you see, very simply we got the expression for moment of inertia for this particular triangle about axis passing through point A, which will be ma square by 3. So you will have to think, okay, how you will make the constructions. So you have to practice questions from moment of inertia. When you start practicing questions from moment of inertia, you will become more comfortable. What are all the different types of questions, how you can make approaches, and you will be able to start thinking in those lines, making constructions. But don't just keep on thinking about constructions, because some questions might be direct. If you directly apply parallel axis theorem, you might be able to get the required moment of inertia expression. See, not that you should not do it the way we did it before. So that is also a very valid way of approaching this question. You find moment of inertia, you construct this triangle so that you have this square and make the approach. Okay. So this, in this situation, this turns out to be relatively easier. So this method works over here, but with practice, you will be able to identify whether to make the construction or whether to directly think of using parallel axis theorem and perpendicular axis theorem. Okay, so that solves this particular question.